Hey friends, welcome back to a new reading vlog. Today is Sunday, June 2nd. It is now June, obviously. Happy Pride Month. I am very excited to dive into this month's reading and into this month's video. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I put on my Instagram yesterday that I have several books, queer books that I want to read this month. I am doing a few TBR, a few buddy reads where the books are not queer, but other than that, the majority of my books this month are going to be queer books. And I had a whole carousel of all of the books that I'm going to be reading, and I mentioned on there that I'm going to do one long mega reading vlog for the month. I'm just going to do a long Pride Month reading vlog. I have several books on here. There's no way I'm going to get to all of these. I very highly doubt that I will get to all of these. But I'm just going to pull up that post and slide through these books and show you the ebooks and audiobooks that I'm going to be reading, and then the first physical book that I plan on reading. So let me pull this up here. Hopefully you guys can see this. So you can see it says Pride there. So the first book, this one I've already started and I need to finish. I've been in the middle of it for months, and it's a crime that I have not finished this book, let alone the series. This is A Prophecy in Ash by Julie Z. She is on YouTube. She was on YouTube as Pages and Pens, and now she's, I think it's Julie Z, spelled Z-E-E, author. I'll tag her down below. She wrote these books, this awesome series, which I love. This is Polly, and there's a throuple in it, and magic and fae, and a lot of drama and political intrigue, and so much fun stuff in this one. And I love the it's not really a love triangle because they're all together, the poly relationship going on in this. Then there's American King by Sierra Simone. Again, I started this one, I'm 30-40% of the way through. I love this series. This is the new Camelot series. This series, if you like, again, this is poly also. If you like dom sub dynamics, this has a lot of that, which Sierra Simone usually has a lot of in her books. This is about a man, Ash, who is actually the president of the United States, and his the woman who becomes his wife, the first lady. Her name is I forget her name now, but they get married. She's the first lady, and then the vice president is his best friend, whose name is Emery, and all three of them are secretly in a relationship together. And there's a lot of spicy scenes, a lot of drama, again, a lot of political intrigue, a lot of stuff happening, and I love these characters. And Sierra Simone writes some of my favorite spicy scenes, so I'm very excited to get further into that one. Then there is Husband Material. I read Boyfriend Material probably a couple years ago and really enjoyed it. I've been meaning to get to the second book and I haven't, so I want to get to that. There's also a third book coming out, but I don't think it comes out until next year. So I want to dive into that one. It's something that was going to be a little less steamy. I think it might have still had some smutty scenes in it, I don't remember, but not quite as steamy as Sierra Simone, and a little bit more fun and relaxed and funny. So I have that. Then I have Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. I love the series. This is the third book in the series. Iris is my favorite character in the whole series, and I have been waiting for her book to come out, so I'm super excited to dive into that one. So the next one is called Girls Can Kiss Now. I wanted to do at least one nonfiction, and this is a bind-up of essays, and I'm really excited to get into that one. Then we have The Guncle. I've heard a lot of really cute, good things about this one. I've heard it's very cute. The second one just came out, The Guncle Abroad, and I was actually sent an arc of it. I shouldn't say sent, actually. I was given an e-arc of it, and I haven't gotten to it, but I haven't read The Guncle either, so I need to read the first one, and then I also have the second one on my list as well. Then I have Don't Let the Forest In. This is an arc that I've had for a little while, but this is a book that I'm really, really looking forward to. It is a horror. It's a queer book, but it's horror, which I feel like we don't get a lot of. This one doesn't come out until October, I think, or November. But like I said, I've had the arc for at least a month now, so I really want to get into that one. I could have saved this one for summer read next month, but I really wanted to read it during Pride, so I have that one. If I don't get it this month, then I will save it for summer read next week, or next month, I mean. Then we have The Honey Witch. This is another one that I feel like a lot of people have been talking about. I'm not sure what it's about, but I think it's more of a cozy book has more cozy vibes. If it's anything like the House Witch, then it'll definitely be super cute and have a lot of those cozy vibes. So I'm excited for that one. How many times can I say I'm excited? I'm excited for all of these. And then A Dowry of Blood. I've had this one on my list forever. I confused it with what's the other one? See, now I can't remember that. There's another book, not by the same author, but it kind of has the same name and kind of the same vibes, like female vampires. I forget what it's called now, but I really liked that one, and I have been wanting to get into this one. So I have this one as well. So those are all of the ebooks and audiobooks that I have. And then for a physical book, I have One Last Stop. If you can see that, One Last Stop by Kissing Christian. I have the Book of the Month version. I've had it since. Does it not say on it? I don't know why I got this. I thought Book of the Month had the month on the back, but it doesn't. I've had this since it came out, and I started it, and I got like 100 pages in or something, and just never finished it. But I love Kissing Christian, and I really want to. I've had this sitting on my shelves for a long time, and I want to get to it. So yeah, those are all of the books I'm hoping to dive into this month, or not all of them actually. I do have more physical books. Those are most of them that I'm hoping to dive into this month. I very highly doubt that I will be able to read all of these, but I will get to as many as I can. And like I said, I'm just going to do one long vlog for the month and talk about all the books that I get up to. So yeah, today is the 2nd. I did not read any of these yesterday, so I'm a day behind already. But I'm going to jump into these today, read what I can. A lot of these are audiobooks, so I should hopefully be able to get through them during the work week. And yeah, I'll bring you guys along for my Pride Month. Also, I forgot that I wanted to show you guys this shirt that I got for Pride Month. I have a few of these now that I want to wear throughout the month. Usually I get shirts from Hollister's Pride collection, but this year I didn't love any of those. I have 2, but this year I didn't really love anything in the collection. So Tilly's had their collection out, and I saw the shirt and I really liked it. It says powerful, human, loving, unique, inspiring, and deserving, and it's obviously like in rainbow. So yeah, I love this. These are gonna be like my uniform for the month. I'm also getting my nails done today, and I'm gonna do some kind of pride theme. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but I will show you guys once I have those done. Hey guys, welcome back. It is later on Sunday, June 2nd now. I went and had my nails done today. I did cute little Pride Month nails. Super happy with how they turned out. I went to a new nail salon and a new nail tech, and I really liked her. She's super sweet and she did a really good job. So I wanted to show those because they fit the theme of the video. And I did, while I was there, I did read more of Prophecy and Ash. I am like 50% of the way through now, so hopefully I'll be able to finish that here in the next couple of days. And then that will be the first book on my list checked off. So made some good headway today. So this is the sequel. This is the 2nd book in the series, so I can't say much about this one. But the first book introduces Aisling, who is half human, half fae, and she is a like detective investigator kind of in like the immortal realm. She lives in a town that is right like on the border. It's on the mortal side, but it's like right on the border of fairy, and she is engaged to a fairy prince named Brannock, and they have been like betrothed since they were kids, and so she is never really sure like how he really feels about her, or I guess she kind of doubts it, because she's not really sure like, is he marrying me because he actually wants to, or because he's being forced to. And they grew up together. They are best friends, so it's not like, it is an arranged marriage, but it's not like they're just meeting for the first time or anything like that. They grew up together and they are good friends, and there is definitely are like feelings and attraction there, but again, she's not sure like if he's being forced or not. Then to kind of throw a wrench in everything, she ends up having a, what in this world is called a Ravdi, I think is how you say it, and it's kind of like, reminds me of like a human version of like a familiar kind of, although I don't know if a familiar transfers powers, but it's kind of like her, it's not really a mate the way like SJM writes mates. It's like they match and they have this bond, there's a bond between them, and they share powers. Like he can basically fuel her powers and make her stronger, and So kind of like Rowan is to Aelin in Throne of Glass, but not exactly. It's definitely not like exactly the same thing. But the biggest difference is that Riordan, I think is how you pronounce it. Riordan, I'm not sure. He is human. So he's human, but he has powers. And again, he can like fuel and increase Aesling's powers. And there is a bond between them. And they meet, and Riordan's parents were killed. They were Ravdi as well, and they were killed. And I think it's been a while since I read the first book, but I want to say that their Fae person, like burned them out basically and used all their powers. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, but for some reason they died, and so because of that, Riordan says he's never going to be a Ravdi. He doesn't want anything to do with it. It's like a toxic relationship. He doesn't want anything to do with it until he meets Aisling, and the bond kind of snaps into place between them, and they immediately have this like chemistry and attraction towards each other. But again, Aisling is betrothed to Brannock, so it ends up being a poly situation with all three of them. There's a little bit of a love triangle element, but it eventually kind of opens up to it being the three of them together, which I love. I'm definitely more of a like white shoes kind of girl, so I love that. And yeah, so the first story kind of introduces all the characters, and some different shenanigans and stuff happens. And then in the second book, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but Aisling ends up getting kidnapped, and they have to figure out Brannock and Riordan have to work together to find out who kidnapped her. And I really like that this one is focusing a lot on, it does focus on the relationship between the three of them, but it does really focus on the relationship between Brannock and Riordan, which I love. Seeing them kind of start to accept their feelings for each other. Brannock is more open to his feelings for Riordan, but Riordan was raised in the human world. That's the thing, that but for Brannock, being raised in fairy, like a male-male relationship is much more common, and this type of like threesome is more common. Being from the human world, Riordan was raised more this part that talks about like toxic masculinity and the way he was raised, and so for him it's a little bit harder to accept that he's having feelings for a man, and that he is in this kind of threesome situation and is having to share Aisling, because they do have like an actual bond between them. So yeah, I love the dynamics. I love them kind of fighting their feelings for each other, but then slowly starting to accept them. I love the like two separate relationships, but then the like bigger relationship of the three of them. There's a lot of like political intrigue and drama, and we get to see them being in the Fae lands as well as the human lands. So yeah, I really love all of it. It's a really good series. I am excited to finish this one so that I can then move on to Destiny and Ash, I think is the third book in the series. So I'm working on that, and then so I have that. I've been working on that, and then I also think I'm going to start an audiobook today. I'm not sure which audiobook I'm going to start, maybe the Gunkel, but I have, while I'm listening to that, I have a knitting project I have been working on that is perfect for this month and perfect for this video. It is a rainbow colored, it's going to be a blanket eventually. I've been working on this for a while because I started it and then stopped. So yeah, it's starting out super cute so far. The yarn that I had, it's all one ball of yarn. Like, I bought it already in a ball of yarn of like rainbow colors, and so it's not like separate reams. What is it called? Is it called a ream? I don't know. Separate balls of yarn. It's not separate colors. It's all one. And it got all tangled up, and I spent like days trying to unravel it, and I had to like cut some of it out because it was knots, and it was a whole big thing. So that kind of turned me off for a while, and I didn't want to do it, but I want to get back into it. I think this is gonna be super cute blanket. I can put it here on my beanbag here. I have my other one that I made last year, which my nails match. And yeah, so that is basically it. I'm gonna keep reading Prophecy and Ash, and I'll start with the audiobooks, and then I will probably check back in the morning. Okay, so it is several days later now. It is June 10th now. I think the last time I updated would have been June 2nd, I believe, so it's been a little bit more than a week. So I finished 2 books. I finished a Prophecy and Ash by Julie Z. I will put the cover up here. I really enjoyed this one. This one ended on a cliffhanger. It is a sequel, so I can't really talk about specifics, but I did previously talk a little bit of what it's about. But this one left off on a cliffhanger that I did not see coming, and there were a lot of developments in the relationship, in the like I said, it was not really a love triangle, but in the poly relationship centered in this book, there was more development in this book that I really enjoyed. I love all three of these characters, and I love the way they all came together and how supportive they are of one another, and I just think Julie did a great job of showing like their dynamics and how they are like all trying to navigate this unconventional relationship, and you know, the uncertainty of it, and like their one specifically, Aisling, she's worried about like judgment and the repercussions of being in this like triangle of a relationship, and what it means for her to have a husband as well as a boyfriend, and the dynamic of also three of them and like their powers, and her and Brynoch being Brynoch's Fae and she's half Fae, and like working through all of that as well, and the fact that her and Brynoch is immortal, and I don't remember if Aisling is completely immortal or if she will just live like a lot longer than a normal human would. Dealing with that and the fact that Reardon is a normal human and will not live forever, and just everything that happens in the book. Like, I like that the relationship plays an integral part of the story, but there's also so much more going on around it, and it's not just about the romance. I really appreciate that, and like I said, the cliffhanger was something that I didn't see coming. I think the next book, Destiny and Ash, I'm really excited to get into, because I'm excited to see where the relationship's going to go now that they are all like fully on board and committed to one another. But what's going to happen after the ending of the last book? I think a Destiny and Ash now is going to be like full on war and a lot of like politics and battles and that kind of thing, which I'm really excited for. And again, I'm really excited to see how that relationship is going to progress. So yeah, I really enjoyed A Prophecy in Ash. Gave it 4 stars. I think I even liked it maybe more than the first book. And I'm really excited to get into the third one. So I'm not going to jump straight into the third one. I did start another book that was on my TBR, but I'll talk about that in a minute. The second book that I finished was American King, which is the third book in the new Camelot series by Sierra Simone. I love Sierra Simone's writing. She is not afraid to write about things that would be considered taboo, that people wouldn't necessarily agree with, and kind of crossing the line, which I really like, and she's not afraid to go there, and I really enjoy that. Her books are very like sexy. They feature all kinds of, not just this series, but her other series I've read, the is it Thorn Chapel series, I think, is the A Lesson in Thorns series. I loved that series. That one has some taboo kind of topics in it, and a lot of like dom sub dynamics and BDSM and that kind of thing. And then I think she wrote Priest as well, which is definitely taboo, but I love that about her, and I really enjoy her writing, and I like the way she crafts these stories. Like, she weaves the sexy times and the smut and everything into these stories so well, so that it's not only about the sex, but they have this whole like overarching story going on around it as well, and these, I think, really beautiful relationships. I really enjoyed this series. So the whole thing is that the 3 main characters in this are like reincarnated versions of Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot, and I did expect that to come into play a lot more than it did. I wasn't sure how the last one was going to end, because everything kind of comes to light, and I thought I just thought that was going to play like more of a central part to the story, but didn't really. That part of it kind of got like resolved quickly and kind of glossed over quickly. But overall, I really did enjoy it. I ended up giving it, I think I gave it 4 stars as well. There are 2 more books, but I think they're kind of like extensions to, I don't know what this phone is doing. There are 2 more books, but I think they're like extensions to the story, like from other. I think the main like trilogy with those 3 main characters is now over, and then the last 2 books. I'm not sure what the 4th one is about. I believe the 5th one is from the POV. I think it's of Belvedere, who was Ash, the kind of like main character's like assistant or something. I don't know what his actual title was, but I think it's about him. I don't know if I'll read them or not, maybe eventually, but I did technically finish the actual like main like proper trilogy, and I did really enjoy it. If you have read Sierra Simone's books before, I know Priest is like really popular right now, or it has been in the last like year. I highly suggest this one, and I definitely suggest the Thorn Chapel series. I really enjoyed both of them. So once I finished that, I wanted to get into one of the audiobooks that I had. So I wanted something a little bit different. So I started The Guncle, and I did not realize exactly what this book was. I don't know why I assumed that it was a romance, but it's not. I think there may eventually be some romance in it for the main character, like there's a romance coming for the main character, but really it's about like relationships and grief and loss of a loved one in like different ways, like the loss of a mother, the loss of a sister-in-law, of a wife, of a best friend. There are parts of it that are really funny. I love the banter. I love books when there's an adult that has like a sidekick kid or kids. I love that. I love when kids are like funny and witty and smart. And there's a lot of banter in it, and already it's made me tear up, and it's very heartfelt, and there are parts of it that are very funny and parts of it that are very serious. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting the like relationship dynamics of it, and like the focus on grief and loss, and like moving on after loss. I think I'm gonna end up really, really loving this book. I'm like 30% or not. That's not true. I think I'm like 50% of the way through now. I've been listening to the audiobook, so I'm getting through it pretty quick. I do want to focus on that because I do have the sequel. I was sent, or not sent, but I was given an audiobook of the arc for the sequel, The Guncle Abroad, which is out now. So I do want to finish The Guncle so I can move on to the second one. But yeah, I'm loving this book so much more than I thought I was going to, and it is so much deeper than what I was expecting. Okay, so it is, I don't remember when I updated last. It might have been a day or two. It is June 12th now. I finished The Guncle, which I absolutely loved. That might be my favorite book of the year so far. I loved it. It was so, it's so bittersweet, I guess I should say, because it's so, like, beautifully written, heartwarming, sad. I did cry. It tackles such hard topics like grief and loss, especially from like the point of view of a child. Also addiction, and like family dynamics. There's like sibling dynamics and like parent-child dynamics, and generational gaps and that kind of thing. And you get to see the sibling dynamics both from like an older generation, like siblings in their 40s, and then like siblings who are like 10 and 7 or something. So you get to see both like ends of the spectrum and how those relationships and dynamics can change depending on your age and your lived experiences and everything. And I love when authors can write books so well that so easily and naturally weave in hard topics like that, but weave in humor into it, and they know exactly when to break up the seriousness, when is an appropriate time to have something funny, and when to include banter, and when to make a joke. And it never felt like forced. The humor never felt forced. It never felt like like, oh, this isn't the time for that, or it never felt inappropriate. I think the representation of grief and loss, like from all spectrums, kids, siblings, a little bit of parent, like a best friend, all of that was done really well. And it's also queer, which I think, again, done really well. There's representation of, you know, a gay couple, of a throuple, like a poly relationship, which I really liked. There's also like friendship, like the found family aspect, which I really liked as well. There was so much in this that I loved, and there wasn't really anything about it that I didn't like. I definitely gave it 5 stars. So much so that I'm going to jump right into the second one. I have The Go Go Broad. I was given an audio version of it through, I think it's Penguin Random House, I believe it is. So I'm going to jump right into that. Because I loved the first one so much. So I'll let you guys know what I think of this one. This one I think is going to be Patrick, the main character, taking the kids abroad. It says they're going to go abroad, so I'm assuming that's what it is. And I'm excited to see just those relationships grow even more, see how the kids are doing now that their dad is kind of dealing with his addiction, and how all the familial dynamics and relationships are going to change and grow and develop. And I love books set in Europe, I'm assuming, so yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm going to jump right into that, like I said. And I also started Don't Let the Forest In. I'll put a cover up here. I don't remember the name of the author right now, but I started it last night, and then next thing I knew, I was like 40% in. It immediately drew me in. I am really liking it. I don't think I've read a queer horror in a while. There's one I can think of. I can't remember the name of the book now, but the cover is like a girl, and she has like tear marks, like claw marks across her face. I can't think of what it's called, but that was horror-like, I think. And Queer Belief, I haven't read very many, so I'm really excited to get further into this one. Like I said, I started it and immediately was just sucked in, and reading it at night, it was like the perfect environment for that kind of book, because it's set at a like private school, boarding school in Virginia, I think it is, and the main characters are 2 twins, Dove and Andrew, I believe, and then there's like the third of their like triangle is, what's his name? I want to say Tyler, but I don't know if that's right. There's a third, their friend. There's 2 twins, and then, or a set of twins, and then their friend. And the 3 of them have been like best friends for years. Andrew has a crush on the other guy. I think it's Tyler, but I don't know if that's right. On the other guy, but Andrew thinks that the friend actually likes his sister Dove. And the boarding school pushes up against, like, borders this very large, dense, dark forest, and the other guy is like very like one with nature and loves to go into the forest and get lost in the forest, and he is an artist and draws in the forest, and like they've even seen him like kissing trees and like hugging trees and all that kind of thing. And Andrew is a writer. He likes to write, and he writes very dark stories that kind of match the other kids' dark drawings. And whereas Dove, the girl, is very like studious and like academic minded. And with this new year, something happened. They were in their senior year. Something happened their junior year that we don't see, that they just kind of reference, that kind of drove Dove and the other kid. And Andrew doesn't know what drove those 2 apart or what they're fighting about. But now he and the other kid are starting to fight, because right at the beginning of the school year, the first day, police showed up at the school and started accusing the other kid, or like interrogating the other kid, because his parents are missing, and like their house was covered in blood, but it seems like maybe his parents are abusive. So you don't really know what's going on with that. I'm really liking it. I love I love boarding school. I love like that dark academia vibe. You can see Davion up here. I love when the boarding school is like in a remote area, you know, in the middle of the woods. I love that. And I like the academic vibe as well. I get the feeling, I could be completely wrong, but the way that Tyler is, and the way he's just like one with nature and the things he draws, makes me think he might be like fae, or maybe he's a changeling or something. I'm kind of getting that vibe, but I don't know if that's actually what it's going to be. So I like the mystery aspect of it as well. When you're kind of trying to figure out what happened to his parents too. So far I'm really liking it. I love like a friend dynamic. You also get the sibling dynamic between the two twins, and they kind of have a weird relationship with their dad as well. And their mom walked out, and I'm wondering if the mom's going to show up. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but the writing is beautiful, and the descriptions of the school and the woods, and like the writing that Andrew does and the art that the other kid does is all described so well. I'm really, really enjoying it. So I may end up finishing it tonight. So yeah, I will let you guys know once I have another update.
This is the author, Stephen Rowley. For my readers. The trouble with children is that they're not returnable. Quentin Crisp. When they're handing out the heartaches, you know you got to have you some. Juice Newton, Queen of Hearts. Now, Patrick O'Hara removed the clothes from his room service breakfast with a flourish it did not deserve. He grimaced at what lay beneath. You have to hand it to the Italians, he thought as he sat on his terrazza overlooking Lake Como. They had lunch and dinner so hard there was never anything left for breakfast, unless you count the driest pastry you've ever seen.
Welcome back. It is June 26th now. I don't even know when the last time I updated this vlog was. It's been a little bit. Work has been crazy the last few weeks. There's been a lot going on. If you've seen my weekly vlogs, you know everything that's been going on. But I have finished another book in this Pride reading vlog. I finished The Gunko Abroad. I absolutely loved it. I think I liked the first book a little bit more just because you really get to see like the development of the characters of Patrick's like relationship with the kids, and see him start to come together with his siblings and start to overcome like his grief and sadness from losing his partner. And I just really enjoyed that part of that book. The Gunko Abroad was awesome that it was set like in Europe and you get to see Patrick traveling with the kids. I think the Gunko Abroad was funnier. I was laughing out loud. I listened to it while I was working and I kept laughing out loud. To the point where my husband was coming in the room and be like, what are you laughing at? He thought I was watching something. I really loved the, again, talks of like grief and like the perspective from a child when their living parent is starting to move on after the loss of a spouse, and what that's like from a child's perspective. I was only 2 when my father died, so I don't like really have, even though that did happen to me, I don't have like reference or I don't remember what it was like for my mom to then move on and eventually remarry. So it was interesting to see that dynamic and like feel those emotions from the kids. And Stephen Rowley's writing is amazing and he portrays emotion so well. And again, I love the way he can weave humor into topics that are so serious and heart-wrenching and you know, that would otherwise not be comedic. I think he balances both things perfectly, and I really enjoyed both books. These are 2 that I would definitely be going out and buying physical copies of both of these books. I absolutely love them, and Stephen Rowley is absolutely now a like auto-buy author for me. So I finished that, and then I jumped right into 2 more books. I am now also reading Husband Material by Alexis Hall. This is the sequel to Boyfriend Material. I will put the cover up here. I really enjoyed the first book. I don't remember if I listened to the first book via audio or I read it through ebook, but I really enjoyed the first one. In the first book, you see the main character who is dealing with like parental relationships and dynamics and some like trauma from his childhood, and he's kind of a wild child, partying and kind of casually hooking up, and he basically doing anything he can to avoid like emotions and attachment. Even though he does have like a long-term boyfriend in the first book, he ends up getting burned by that boyfriend, and so a lot of it is his dealing with like that heartbreak and that betrayal. And then eventually he meets the new love interest who kind of shows him what a real relationship is like, and they're super cute. I love them so much. And the next book is obviously like the progression of their relationship from, I'm assuming, boyfriends to husbands. I'm only like 30 pages in maybe. So it seems like this book is going to be the ex now coming like back into the picture kind of, and he is gonna, I'm thinking, gonna try to like woo the main character back on his side, even though he's engaged. That's what it seems like so far. So he just kind of showed up out of nowhere and has now invited the main character to his wedding. And so the main character is now trying to decide, like, am I gonna go to this wedding? Do I need to go? Is this gonna bring me any kind of closure, like that kind of thing? And yeah, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go, and how the relationship between the two main characters is gonna develop in this one. And then there's actually a third book called Father Material. I need to look and see. I don't know if that one is actually out yet or not. I need to double check. But yeah, I'm like 30 pages into this one, like I said. And then the next book that I am reading is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the third book in the Bright Falls, I think is the name of the series. The first book was Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Then the second book was Ashley Parker Doesn't Fail. And now you have Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. I love these books so much. I love a good friend group. I love all of the like female empowerment. You have friendship dynamics, sibling dynamics, mother-daughter dynamics. It's queer. Obviously, I'm reading it in this vlog, so it's queer. And I'm much more of a like character-driven person than like plot or action-driven. And these books have so much of that. I love these characters so much. And Iris has been my favorite character since the first book, so I'm so excited to dive into it and get into her perspective of things. Throughout the first two books, she has had kind of a roller coaster of like relationships. I believe, I want to say in the first book, she ends up, I don't remember if it's the first book or the second book, but she ends up getting cheated on, I think. And so she's come to terms with that and like her heartbreak and stuff. So I think that has led now to this notion that she doesn't date, probably to avoid like more heartbreak. So yeah, those are the two books I am reading now. I think I have some other books still on the list. I may have some arcs. I need to look and see. Like I said, it is now the 26th. There are 30 days in June, so I only have 4 more days until the end of the month. I'm not sure if I'm going to read anymore. I may just try to finish these last two, and I'll have read, I think, 5 books in this vlog, so that is pretty good for one reading vlog for the month and for the month of June, so I'm very happy about that. So yeah, I'm going to jump into these, and I will check back in when I have an update on them. Hey guys, welcome back. So it is Thursday the 27th now, I think. I want to give a quick update because I actually ended up having a little bit of a surprise book on my Pride Month reading list. One of the books I was reading turned out to have a sapphic relationship in it towards the very end of the book that I did not expect. So it turns out that The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo had a sapphic relationship in it. I would say probably, I don't know, 300 pages in or something. There was a character, one of the, not a main character, but kind of like a sidekick kind of the main character. She was her, I don't want to say master because I hate saying that, but like she was the woman of the house that the main character, Lucia, served. And she ended up helping Lucia. At first, this woman, Valentina, I think Valentina is her name. She is married to the man of the house, Marcus, or Marius, I think. Or maybe it is Marcus, I don't remember. But he's the man of the house. She's his wife. This is during the Spanish Inquisition when wealthy families have cooks and butlers and servants and all that kind of thing. And Lucia is their servant. Valentina discovers Lucia's magic and decides to exploit her and use her to gain popularity. And they find out that the king is throwing a tournament to find milagreros, which are people who can work miracles, because it can't be actual magic, because then it's like heresy and blasphemy and the work of the devil and witchcraft and all of those bad things. But if it's shaped as a miracle from God, then it's okay. So these are miracle workers, not witches or magicians or anything like that. And so when Valentina finds out that her servant can do magic or can work these miracles, she exploits her and enters her in this tournament. And that's kind of where the book takes off. A whole bunch of things happen. Valentina, progressively, I really loved her character arc. I think she might have actually been one of my favorite characters in the book. She starts off as a unhappy, subservient, submissive, meek housewife. She married into what she thought was a wealthy family, but it turns out that her husband actually doesn't have that much money and doesn't have that much power and isn't that popular within the elite of Madrid where they live, and they actually don't have that much money, and so they kind of live on the outskirts of town. They don't have a lot of money, and she's very, very unhappy. And so at first she is kind of the evil woman of the house that we would expect there to be in this kind of story, with a servant girl and everything. But she sees Lucia as her ticket out, and her ticket into the elite and into court and into the king's good graces and all those things. And so they start the tournament, a whole bunch of things ensue, but as time goes on, we see Valentina kind of changing and her character arc changing, and slowly she begins to take care of Lucia. You can see she doesn't like her, but she kind of starts to take care of her, and she starts doing things for Lucia that typically would be the other way around. She starts brushing her hair, braiding her hair, helping her dress, helping her undress, things that typically the lady of the house would never do. And so slowly you see her character start to change. And you see her and her husband, their relationship start to change. They start to be happier, they're making love, and he's doing things for her, and they're making each other laugh, and their relationship starts to shift. But then something happens that kind of takes the rose-colored glasses off of Valentina, and she realizes the truth of her husband, and that her husband is actually a coward and very selfish and only cares about himself, and he doesn't do anything to save Lucia in the end when he has the opportunity to do so. But Valentina isn't going to let that fly, so she leaves him or kicks him out. I want to say she leaves for a while and she ends up coming back, but she leaves. She goes and helps Lucia. She does the brave thing, and it's at this time that she ends up living with a playwright, a female playwright, and it is said that they started a romantic relationship together. And so this kind of relationship is obviously back then illegal and outlawed and seen as the work of the devil and all these things. So Leigh Bardugo doesn't go into huge detail about this relationship, but it is made clear that they are together. I don't know if I'd say romantically, but at the very least sexually. And so that little tidbit about their relationship came as a complete surprise. I did not expect Valentina's story to go that way, but I really liked it. I liked her, like I said, her character arc and how she ended up changing as a person, and her and the playwright end up moving back into Valentina's estate, and they open it up as a haven for women to come, women artists and musicians and creatives to come and have it be a sort of sanctuary for women during that time, and they end up driving Valentina's husband away, which I love. And yeah, it was just a really nice surprise at the end of the story that I was already really liking. I really enjoyed this little side story with Valentina as well. So yeah, I'm including that in this month's vlog. I wasn't expecting this book to be part of my Pride reading list, but it was a nice little surprise to find at the end of that book.
Penguin Random House Audio presents Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. Read for you by Kristen DiMercurio. For Meryl and Brooke. Chapter 1. Iris Kelly was desperate. She paused on her parents' front porch steps, the June sun feathering evening light over the blue-painted wood, and took her phone out of her pocket. Tegan McKee was desperate. She typed the words into her notes app, staring at the blinking cursor. Desperate for what, you little minx? She asked out loud, waiting for something, anything that didn't feel overdone and trite to spill into her brain, but nothing did.
Hey, so it is June 30th now, Sunday, June 30th. I love when the end of the month falls on a Sunday and the new month begins on a Monday. It's perfect. I did not finish Husband Material or Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. I got maybe 10% into each. I don't know why I thought that I was going to finish them, because I kind of knew I wasn't going to. But I did manage to finish 4 books this month, so I am very happy with that. I will take it. I Actually, I think it might have been 5 books once I kind of snuck in The Familiar in there. But overall, it was a good reading month. Even though I didn't read that many, like quantity-wise, quality of book was very good. I really enjoyed all the books that I read. And I think I have come to the point where I'm just kind of starting to accept that at least for this year, I am not going to be having months where I read 11, 12, 13 plus books like I used to, or like I have in previous years, I should say. This year it has been more like between 5 and 7 books a month, but I'm still on track to hit my reading goal for the year, so I will take that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this Pride Month reading vlog. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you did make it, leave me a comment down below. Leave me a little rainbow flag down below. Let me know what you read this month. If you have any recommendations on queer books, let me know. I'm always on the lookout for more. And I will see you guys in the next video.